Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Player Zone YouTube channel and welcome to a new video here in the channel. It is 10 teams to keep an eye out for in season 24-25. I thought as the season approaches, we're about 2 and a bit weeks away from the season start, I'd talk through some teams I'm really excited to keep an eye for this season because of new managers, new signings, pushing up their ranks, how will they, if they will challenge for a title or not, how they'll fare in a new league. It's a lot of exciting things for these teams here, and they're all teams in the top flights of the top 5 leagues in Europe, and I thought a chance for you guys at home maybe to track these teams with me as we go throughout the season, and maybe we come back to this video in about 8 or 9 months and see how they have done in their respective seasons. Let's get straight into it. At the top, Como FC there. A very exciting project, this one here. Celebrity endorsed, owned by Thierry Henry, partially by Cesc Fabregas, now managed by Cesc Fabregas as well, playing in one of the most unique positions in the world on Lake Como there as well. Fantastic old style stadium with the running track still employed around it, and now with some superstar names as they have gone up to the Serie A. This season, signings of Rafael Varane, Belotti, Pepe Reina, Alberto Moreno, and rumoured to be more on the way are very exciting for Cesc Fabregas' side. There's a lot of things. Obviously, how do these players go? Can they produce here for this Como side to keep them in Serie A after coming up from the second division? First time back in the Serie A since 2003. Obviously, the celebrity ownership plays a part in the interest around the club. Being at Como as well, near Lake Como, just the situation, that's what's drawn players. That's what Cesc Fabregas said when he moved there 2 years ago to end his playing career. And interesting for me, Cesc Fabregas, I'm a big man excited about these new managers, a new era of managers, and this new style of football that's being implemented. He'll be going to the Serie A against some great masterminds in the league. You think about what Inzaghi's done with Inter Milan, what Motta's able to do at Bologna, now going to Juventus. There's some big names, Antonio Conte at Napoli. How can Cesc Fabregas fare against the big guys, the big boys? There was a lot said about last season. He didn't have his coaching license, so it was only a standing coach for 5 games, 3 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss. But it felt like throughout his whole time there, he was managing from the assistant coach's position behind the scenes, because the new manager came in and Cesc Fabregas was always very involved. He saw him at training, heavily involved. When they initially won promotion, you could see the videos, it was Cesc Fabregas making the big speech. So he was always planned to, once he got to that UEFA coaching license, to take that role. So in that time after the initial sacking, from his interim takeover to the end of the season, he was involved in Como's 15 wins, 6 draws and 4 losses. So really pivotal to turning that around. And we saw in his limited time as the manager, and then later on as an assistant coach on the side, that he's implementing a very attractive modern style of football that it seems to be the way that Spanish managers have been going right now, learning from the likes of Pep Guardiola. And he said a lot has been influence of Arsene Wenger playing under him as well. It's a lot of emphasis on playing out from the back, a 4-2-2-2 he likes to implement there, playing in triangles and overloading areas, and that's exactly what we've seen with a lot of managers coming up. And I love to see how he goes against Thiago Motta, both modern progressive style of footballs. Motta with the classic 2-7-2 in many regards, the way he plays his football, playing out from the back. But Fabregas plays that as well, a willingness to take the game on, play through the lines, and get players moving forward and playing with pace. I'm excited about Fabregas if he can correlate that into the top tier. You've got a player like Rafa Varane, who loves to play that style of football as well. A very vintage goalkeeper in Pepe Reina, who knows and seen a lot of these leagues. He knows these moments. He knows how to manage games. That's really exciting as well. An experienced campaigner like Moreno's won European trophies as well. So a really exciting team to track this season. Obviously, the celebrity ownership, the young manager as well. But how do they go in Serie A? How do they fare against some of the better teams and the better managers in the world? I'm very excited to see, because Cesc Fabregas is sort of asterisked as a manager that coming up the ranks, similar to what we've got with Thiago Motta, Xabi Alonso, and with what we've seen also with Mikel Arteta at Arsenal, quickly going through the junior ranks, spending basically a year there, then up to a senior team, and now taking their own journeys and their own units and their own teams and trying to get that next step. And it might end up being a Xabi Alonso Real Madrid versus Cesc Fabregas Barcelona in about 4 or 5 years' time, which will be very exciting to see. So my first team is Como. I think they'll be very interesting to keep an eye on for staying in Serie A. Is also Juventus, a team that has heavily underperformed over the last few seasons. Without a Scudetto since the 1920 seasons, many poor transfers, points reductions, poor performances, inconsistencies. maybe now just some stability. And Thiago Motta said comes across from Bologna, where he produced a fantastic season with them finishing only 3 points behind Juventus and in the Champions League spots last season. One of my favourite teams to watch because of the way he made his side play the football. As I said previously, the 2-7-2 with a keeper and a centre half as the back two, 7 in a midfield area, stretching the pitch nice and wide and using a very mobile striker to make things happen up top. I think Dusan Vlahovic will fly this season under this Thiago Motta system. A real emphasis on ball playing. That's why Douglas Luiz joins from Aston Villa on a massive €60 million deal as well. There's some big changes that have happened here. You look at some of the names he's added: Douglas Luiz, Kefran Turam, Juan Cabal, all joining. The likes of Moise Kean, Iling Jr., Rabiot, Sandro, and now Chiesa looking like all key departures as well. So he's swung the axe, he's changed the group up. But when you go from Allegri, more pessimistic, pragmatic system where it's defend first and attack second, to a Thiago Motta system which would dominate the ball, dominate games, and win with a bit of swagger, there's a lot of change that have to be made. They might not hit the ground running straight away this season. I don't expect to be perfect from the start, but there's a lot of exciting signs going forward because Thiago Motta did it with, a Bologna squad that we can't really expect much of. We didn't expect much of them last season. He elevated all their performances. Calafiori now at Arsenal. Joshua Zirkzee at Manchester United. If Lewis Ferguson hadn't done his knee, I would have expected him at another big club as well. And more Bologna players being linked away from the club. It's a great story last season. In this second act of this story, can he continue to perform with the biggest club? One of the biggest clubs in Italy, in the Atleti and Juventus. As I said, they've struggled. They've had a lot of poor seasons since that end of that era with the likes of Chiellini, Cristiano Ronaldo was there, Buffon. The older heads had come and gone. And now there's a new generation that couldn't quite get to grips how to handle this big club mentality. Can a manager like Thiago Motta, youthful, confident, exuberate that on this Juventus side, can they compete with the two Milan sides? Can they fend off an up-and-coming Napoli under Antonio Conte? Can they deal with these teams around them? Because, yes, they finished third last season, but it was not very impressive at all. Yes, they go to the Italian Cup, but again, I don't think we've seen Juve at their best for a long, long time. Maybe Thiago Motta can be that man to take them to Scudetto glory, can take them to more consistent performances, and can make a real fist of the Champions League. I'll be very excited to see what he can do there. Very, very exciting, as I said, to see him in a big club with a lot of money back behind him. Can he show us what we all think he is, which is a top manager in the world? Coming across to England next, it's Aston Villa. And it sort of links quite nice here because you lose Douglas Luiz. It's a fresh start in regards to midfield, but a lot of excitement to have this season. They're back in the Champions League for the first time since the 82-83 season. Obviously, they are European Cup champions, so they've got a bit of history in the top European flight, but it's been a long, long time since they've been in this position here, back in the top European competition and competing for a European trophy. They've had years away in relegated zones, up and down the Premier League and the Championship. Some darker times. But Unai Emery has come in and saved this club for such a low point. The turnaround's been fantastic, and now you're in the Champions League. So exciting for this head. There's some superstar players over the park. You've got the best keeper in the world in Emi Martinez, one of the best up-and-coming strikers it feels like right now in Ollie Watkins, who adds goals and assists to his game as well. Yes, he might lose arguably your best player in there in Douglas Luiz, but you've gone and reinforced players like Ross Barkley, who had a fantastic season last year. The likes of Amadou Onana, Ian Matson, Iling Jr., Barranquilla, Philogene Bidance as well. And the link now to João Felix to join the club as well. There's a lot of excitement here. You got Leon Bailey performing at his best last season. There was a lot of good signs there. Can they build on that and go again this season? We see teams like Newcastle, Brighton, both last season, struggle to handle with European football and league football. Aston Villa under Unai Emery, managers won 4 European trophies in the last 10 seasons, knows what it's about, knows what it's like to win these European trophies, and knows how to balance the league as well. Can he go and get another top 6 finish in the Premier League and go make a real fist of the Champions League? Because Villa Park will be bouncing. They'll get that home support. They'll get that backing. It's going to be a very, very tough place to go. And in this new format, they might just work their way into a knockout position. It's going to be really, really exciting to see. I just think for a club like Villa, which is, I guess in the modern era, being used to being up and down, the bottom end of the Premier League, down in the Championship, it's a fresh sight and a sight for sore eyes. Those used to football in the 80s, to see them back competing in Europeans' top competition. So really, really excited to see, and really excited to see with some of the new transfer they got there as well. I love Ross Barkley, Amadou Onana. There's some midfield depth once again. When Kamara comes back from his injury, you obviously got in there John McGinn as well. Morgan Rogers in a fantastic, I think, role to come the end of last season. Will he kick on this season? If João Felix comes across there, you've got a real superstar there in your front line alongside Ollie Watkins. Can Leon Bailey continue his performances from last season? There's a lot of good signs. I think Ian Martin, for me, one of my favourite, probably the favourite, or maybe just behind Jeremy Frimpong, in terms of the most exciting fullbacks in the world as well. So they've got a lot of talent all over the park. And I think if they can hold off Chelsea, United, Newcastle, maybe Brighton trying to come back up in there, they can get another Champions League position if they're lucky as well. So really excited to see what Unai Emery can do with this Aston Villa side come this season. Going back to Italy, another very interesting watch is Napoli. Now with Antonio Conte at the charge, it was a pathetic season last, let's be honest. 10th in the league, 53 points, and going through 3 managers just a year after winning the Scudetto. You know, you're now going to lose Victor Osimhen. Looks like he's on his way out, looking like Chelsea at the moment, but PSG is also linked as well. So you lose your star talisman. Romelu Lukaku's coming in, it looks like. Is he the exact same? No, absolutely not. But he is worth some goals. He can get you some goals. Kavica Kvaratskhelia looks like he might be staying, with that all being said. So at least you got some of that star quality still at the football club. But the thing about Antonio Conte coming to this side, and that's what's most exciting about it, is he wins trophies. He knows how to go places and get the best out of his players. He's won 4 Scudettos, including obviously that famous 102 point win in 13-14 season, the record-breaking year with Juventus. He also won his first season in the Premier League with Chelsea as well. So perennial winner. He knows how to win trophies. Obviously, he's a defensively orientated manager, a real traditional Italian manager. But they don't need that. Last season, Napoli, the defence is all at sea. We had no performance anywhere near the year before. Yes, they lost Kim Min-jae, and De Lorenzo's performance has dropped off a cliff. But I think now with this defensively orientated style, this real authoritarian style of Antonio Conte, it might just be enough for Napoli to lift up the ranks. And there's going to be a few interesting signs. Obviously, Lukaku, look at he should be coming. But the defensive reinforcement, that Spinazzola's come in, Rafa Marin's come in from Real Madrid, Buongiorno, also coming across and linked to Billy Gilmour as well in midfield to sort of shore up that midfield as well. So no A-star quality players, but really important high-level squad players that can make a difference in the starting 11, who are defensively orientated, that can shore up that defence, and players, I guess, that Antonio Conte trusts in his side. He will want to shore up the back. He'll want to shore up the defensive solidity. Will likely go to a 5-back system here at Napoli, and it'd be really, really important to see them go back up competing with the top boys. Juve have got a new manager. They're looking very dangerous under Thiago Motta. Obviously, Inter and AC Milan have been on fire in the last few seasons. Inter look like the unbeatable side in the league. So can Napoli sort of work their way back up in that sort of top 4 there and compete? I think that's at least we asked them, competing this season. 10th was not enough last season. Can Antonio Conte revolutionise his side? Can get Kvaratskhelia playing his best football? Can get the defence shored up to be a defensive giant in the league, to be a defence-first team that denies opposition chances? And can they find goals in Romelu Lukaku to really lift this side, get them goals, and get them flying up the league? And again, I'm not going to say they can win the league, but with Antonio Conte's history and his ability to win trophies, I wouldn't put it past him to have a real famous season here in the Serie A. So for me, a very, very exciting watch is Napoli next season, a big club, a sleeping giant last season. Can they return to their former glory? Moving to the German league and to Bayer Leverkusen, obviously we know the story last season, unbeaten until the last game of the year, domestic double, DFB Pokal and Bundesliga invincible champions. But it's about how you go again. That's the way the world of football works. We move on very, very quickly. Xabi Alonso kept a lot of his team. Jonathan Tah's the only one linked away at the moment. So you got your main group there. Can you do it again, though? Can these players show it wasn't a fluke? Because these players have increased their reputation in the world of football, rightly so. But coming to the last season, they weren't seen as his top players. Florian Wirtz was seen as a star man, but could he do it on the big stage? He's proven that, but can he do it again? Granit Xhaka came from an Arsenal side, did fantastically well, but can he lift and be a consistent, top-level performer, which has me thinking he might be near the top 10 of the Ballon d'Or race. The likes of Robert Arnerich, can he continue to enhance his reputation as that midfield bruiser, the one that breaks up the game midfield? Can Victor Boniface continue to be that lethal scorer up front? That's the question we're all asking. Key additions were Alex Garcia adds a bit of creativity in midfield, coming from a Girona side which is used to this fluid style of football. That's what Xabi Alonso wants his side to play. Can he just drop into there and add a bit of quality in that midfield, add a bit of depth, which they desperately need in the midfield? Martin Terrier, Baloshin as well, cover each part of the pitch. So you've got a defender in there, you've got a winger, and you've also got a central midfield as well. So they've shored up every part of the pitch. They've kept the main squad together. Jonathan Tah's the only one linked away. You've kept the likes of Florian Wirtz. You've kept Jeremy Frimpong. No question about Alex Grimaldo as well. So the main crew's there. You've got the same. He's saying, can you run it back? Because Bayern are going to be coming for you. Under Vincent Kompany, a few new signings, Marco Lise, Jacques Palhinha joining as well. You've obviously got those second season for Kim Min-jae as well. They're starting to build, starting to just gel together. Harry Kane, can he do that again? They're going to be coming for you. Obviously, Borussia Dortmund have a fantastic squad this season as well. They were close to making this top 10 exciting teams as well. They're going to be coming for the crown of the Bundesliga as well. So can you hold them off and defend your crown? In my eyes, Xabi Alonso, this will be his last season. He'll probably go to Real Madrid after Ancelotti's contract is up. Can he go out on an absolute high of winning back-to-back Bundesliga titles with Leverkusen? They haven't won it until now. They won it last season. They'd love to go do it again. And they got Champions League football. So how do they fare in Europe? How do they balance both competitions? And have they got what it takes? Have they got that leadership and that winner's mentality to keep going throughout the season and get the job done? It's going to be very, very exciting to see. Because last season, I feel like they used up all those magic moments, those late winners, keeping the unbeaten streak alive. Have they got what it takes to go again? The Man Cities have it. The Barcelonas and Real Madrids in the world, they have it. So Liverpool struggle to bounce back after their premiership season. Can the Bayer Leverkusen side, a fresh face on the winner's circle, go again and compete and maybe even take it home once more? Coming to the French league, there's only one team. It's Marseille. It's going to be a very, very interesting season. Roberto De Zerbi moves from Brighton to Marseille. Was he wanting to go to Marseille? I don't think he was. I'm going to be honest with you. I think Barcelona was the ideal job, or even a Bayern Munich, but did not enter the big clubs. Ended at a bit of a side quest in many regards. Ligue 1, the lights have been turned off, I think. Kylian Mbappe's left and the league's sort of being shut down. It's a chance for someone else to compete with PSG. There's no Mbappe, there's no Messi, there's no Neymar. They are very strong. They are easily the best team in the competition. But they're a very young team. They're still going to build that continuity. Luis Enrique is a fantastic manager, but Roberto De Zerbi gets his players to play at their highest level. And I think for Roberto De Zerbi, it's an interesting season because I rate him very, very highly. And I know on the couch, me and Antonio rated him really highly, but also on the couch, Flint hasn't said, what has he actually done? Is this not just the foundation set in by Potter, the previous Brighton manager? So it's interesting to see if De Zerbi can come across here to this Marseille side with a few key names I'll mention in a bit and transform them and make them compete once again. They finished second and third not too long ago, but last season was quite poor for them, finishing 8th, a long way off the top in Ligue 1. And as I said, there's a chance to maybe snatch the title off PSG this season with Mbappe leaving, eyes taken away from the league. PSG might have a drop-off. There's a lot of young players there. Do they connect? Do they perform at a higher level? If they end up doing well in the Champions League, do they go for that, run the league title? There's a real opportunity for a team to come in and snatch it away from PSG this season. It just feels like that. There's not much talk about it, but I sense there could be an opportunity this season. If Roberto De Zerbi can get it right with this Marseille side, with how formidable that home stadium is, it's such a difficult place to go and play football. Those fans can get behind this team, and Roberto De Zerbi is going to be a very, very dangerous side to look at. You've obviously got big signings. Højbjerg in midfield, Mason Greenwood up top, Ismail Kone, also another signing confirmed. Eddie Nketiah also linked. It's truly a new era here at Marseille. Aubameyang obviously is out the door. And Ismail Assar looks like he's leaving for Crystal Palace as well. So it's a whole new era here. But if Roberto De Zerbi can implement that ball retention, possession style of football, where you play through the lines, you stretch teams, it's a different style of football which France is probably not used to yet. It's a different style that's come across from Italy, developed in Italy, really harnessed in England, and now maybe close to the final product in France here in Marseille. It could be a real dangerous season for Marseille. I think they expect to bounce back. It's how far they can go. I'm going to be really, really out there and saying they could compete for the title. So keep an eye out for Marseille, especially with Roberto De Zerbi needing to prove something, it feels like, after a very poor season with Brighton last season. Coming over to Spain, and a very interesting watch, as it every year, is FC Barcelona. A new era, a Hansi Flick now at the helm. After all that happened in Xavi last season, there was a lot going on there. But in the end, new manager, new start. But for Barcelona, I guess the title is always a goal, but it's a bit of a rebuilding, bit of a set the foundation sort of season here. Real Madrid are another postcard. They're in another whole universe away. They've got this elite level talent all over the park, depth, and Ancelotti. They've got it all. I think they'll win the Champions, they'll win the league. I think they do the treble this season. I honestly reckon it's about time they finally get a treble, and this season could be the season. For Hansi Flick, a man that has accomplished a lot, has won everything wherever he's gone. You look at some of his history, 2 Bundesligas, 1 Champions League, 1 German Cup, 1 UEFA Super Cup, 1 German Super Cup. The accolades is heavy. But heavy is a head that wears a Barcelona crown. We can say that. Xavi said it last time. It's very, very hard work to deal with the fans and the media because Barcelona is a juggernaut of world football. Yes, but Bayern Munich is massive. And yes, the German job is big. He sort of failed on the German job. Bayern got rid of him. This is a chance to prove all those haters and all those, I guess, critics wrong. If he can go here to Barcelona and compete with Real all season, maybe nick the title off them, make a massive run of the Champions League. Because the quality is there at Barcelona. The injuries haven't hurt them, but the quality is there. Some of the young names here you can roll off the top of your head here. Kubasi, Alex Baldi, Alex Fort, Gavi, Pedri, Fermin Lopez, Ansu Fati, Lamine Yamal, Rita Roque, and also Nico Williams, potential to join as well. We've got a lot of young, under 22 type talent. Frankie de Jong in there as well. Araujo. Look like Cancelo should come back on another loan deal. There's a lot of talent over the park. They did win the league a year before, around last season. They had the talent there. It didn't work last season. It was a bit all over the place, but they've got the quality. And if I'm just excited to see what that Lamine Yamal, Nico Williams partnership looks like in the league. That's going to be very exciting. If I can get Dani Olmo across as well, it would be a fantastic window. But I think what Hansi Flick will instill is a bit of just the ability to stay calm in key moments, keep a cool head, and manage games a bit more. He's a guy that's gone to teams and won trophies. This is a Barcelona side. Yes, they've won the league 2 years ago, but it's a very young team that needs a lot of guidance and a lot of teaching. And I think this is what Hansi Flick can bring to this side. A bit of consistency, a bit of coolness and calmness, and that will be enough for them to take that next step to the next level. It's a lot to ask of Hansi Flick with a very young unit, but I think he's got the ability to make it happen. And I think Real Madrid will still run away with the league, but I think Barcelona, under Hansi Flick, will definitely cause some problems this season. Obviously, their back's against the wall. They've got no Camp Nou until the start of 2025. Obviously, got the financial restrictions as well. Injuries have been a problem for them in recent seasons. But if someone's able to turn it around, I think Hansi Flick is the man with enough presence in the room, enough aura in the room, and the confidence to get it done here for FC Barcelona. Coming to the last few teams. St. Pauli is the third from last team. Obviously, everyone knows this story. The underdogs, really, in their own region. And in the last few seasons, they've been in the Bundesliga too. The first time back up to the top flight since 2012. They come up on a bit of a fairy tale end, winning the league over Holstein Kiel by just 1 point come season's end last year. A fantastic season under a great manager in Hertzler, but who's obviously left now for Brighton. So it's a whole fresh start for St. Pauli. New manager Alex Blessin has taken the helm at the top of this side here. And with no major money signings, it's the question of, can the superstars of last season, the Hartels, who was goal and assist numbers are through the roof, Jackson Irvin, Eggstein up top, can they do the business now in the top flight? Can they carry their form over? And can they carry that Hertzler style of football, which is incredible, attacking, free will, free expressions of the football, where you'd overload wide areas, be dangerous from set pieces, continue to attack at will. And that's what the fans expect. Can they have the same sort of effect this season? Can they play the same type of football this season? Or will they go back in their shelves and try and just hold on to games? I hope they continue to play this front-footed style of football. We've seen it work. Last season, you look at Girona, look at Bologna, Aston Villa. In all the big leagues, there was a team that came up into the Champions League spots playing that style of football. Even Bayern Leverkusen, going from basically nowhere to winning the league. They all were playing this really confident, expressive, attacking style of football, and it worked. St. Pauli have done that last season. That's what they got them the title. Can they continue that onto this season under new management and under a real lack of reinforcements? They haven't really signed anyone yet, a few free transfers, and nothing that will change the game for them. So can they match what they did last season and lift to the level required of the Bundesliga? Can those key players get it done? Can they get over the line and stay in the league? I think there'll be a fight to stay alive for St. Pauli. But you know those fans, they're always back against the wall. It's always a really, really interesting story with St. Pauli, being the underdogs of their own area. But can they get it done and be the big name in that area there in Germany? And can they stay in the top flight? All right, our penultimate team, The last two teams both being in England, penultimate one being Chelsea. Obviously, always eyes on Chelsea with what they've done in recent years under Todd Bowley. It's been chaotic, disastrous, whatever word you want to use for it. But is this year the year for Chelsea to make that step back amongst the big boys? Another manager at Stamford Bridge. 6 managers they've had in the last 2 and a bit seasons. Finishing 12th, 6 in the last 2 seasons. And consistency has not been the same, and consistent success has not been the same since the early 2010s. Can they refine that under Maresca? That's the question we have to wait and see. A truckload of talent. There's about 2 elite-level talents in each position on the pitch. They're a very young team, a team of a first-team squad of around 40-odd players. There are a lot of players to manage. Maresca's done a great job at Leicester in the Championship, but can he do it in the top flight? Can he do it under the Chelsea pressure? And can he manage his young talents? There's a lot of young players to get a hold of. I think that's been the fall down of a lot of these managers previous. There's a lot of young talent, and you can't just fit them all in the same team. I called for, in the Sign and Sell podcast, to sign like of Chiesa. Bit of an experienced head to come in there and add a bit of maturity in this squad, because it's very, very young right now. Because you've got players like Palmer, like Noni Madueke, Mikhailo Mudryk, Chukwuemeka, Levi Colwill, Disasi. They're all very, very young players, and I think you need a little bit more veteran experience in there. Players like Sterling have been heavily underperforming, probably one of the worst players in the squad. He's one of your older, more experienced players. You lose your veteran experience and probably one of your best players across the last 3 seasons in Thiago Silva as well. So you need the manager or a new player to come in to be that veteran leader in there. And can it be Christopher Nkunku? Obviously, was unfit a lot last season. But the question Maresca, I guess, has to deal with is, can he fit the likes of Nkunku, Palmer, Shrewsbury Hall, Madueke, Mudryk, whoever want to play up front, whether it be something like Victor Osimhen, or you're using one of the boys you've already got there at the football club, like a Jackson. Can you get them all working together? Can you get them all functioning? Can you get Enzo to perform more consistently week in, week out? Can you keep the likes of Romeo Lavia and Caicedo fit for long periods of time? That's the question. And I think there's a lot of moving pieces at Chelsea. But I think the job of this manager, Maresca, and the exciting thing of this season is, can they put together continuity? Because the squad's there. They showed some signs come the second half of last season. You've got an all-star, top 8-star level elite player in Cole Palmer to lead your side. You just need more people to go with him, because it felt like a one-man band at times last season. So if Maresca can unite this group and play together and start to show signs of consistency, continuity, and togetherness, there's no reason why they can't compete for the top 4. And I think people expecting this season to be the year they can make that jump. Whether it be under Pochettino or Maresca, I don't know how you guys say. I don't really agree with getting rid of Pochettino, but they've got rid of him. Maresca's the new manager. He played a fantastic style of football in the Championship with Leicester. Can he bring that over to the Premier League, though? It's a whole new league, whole new level, more competition, and you've got to deal with a lot of players and a lot of egos, especially with a 40-man squad. So how do you manage it? We'll have to wait and see with Chelsea. There's a lot of open questions, but a lot can be answered the first 4 weeks. If he gets it done, if he gets the balance right, if he gets the right players out in the park, I think Chelsea will be a very, very dangerous team this season. Our final team to keep an eye out for is Liverpool. The first year without Jurgen Klopp for what has been around 9 seasons. He's been there for 9 years now. He built a great culture, a great environment. The fans behind the manager was behind the fans. It felt together. When they were in their lowest moments, they were together. When they're in the highest moments, they were together. It was a perfect partnership. Klopp understood the fans understood Klopp. It was almost perfect for Liverpool fans. That's why I think it was so emotional when Klopp left last season. You've still got the Klopp players there, but you still got a really, really talented squad as well. And I think I've been a big defender of Liverpool, whether it be on the podcast or having conversations with people about their season to come. There's still a lot of danger here this season that Liverpool can cause. They could challenge for the league title once again. They were top of the league come the second half of the year. Yes, they fell apart and consistency was poor come the second half of the season. Injuries hurt them, but it's the same sort of names. And a few names, Arne Slot said, are in the way. I think they're needed. But if Arne Slot can just come in, hit the ground running, understand his group, and get them just to shift a few things to change to his style of football, there's no reason why they can't cause a real havoc at the start of the season here. No one's given them a real shout. I think they think Arsenal City in their own league of their own. But I think Liverpool are really, really close. I think they're the sleeping giant. They were a team last season that caused Arsenal and City problems last season. There's no reason why they can't cause them problems yet again. Players like Dominic Szoboszlai, can they be more consistent? Can Mo Salah be more consistent this season? Can he continue to rise to the task and help Arne Slot's team along the way? Can young players like Stefan Bajcetic, Harvey Elliott, Yarel Quansah, or help, Connor Bradley can all help and continue to develop under Arne Slot? Can Darwin Núñez finally hit the ground? Because this feels like his season. It's this time or bust now for Darwin Núñez at Liverpool. Can he hit the ground running and really make a fist this season? There's a lot of questions at Liverpool. But again, once again, like Chelsea, can easily be answered in the first month or so. If things start to fire again, they start to feel like Liverpool of old. It's not going to be the same style of football. It's not going to be the same sort of, I guess, aura around Liverpool. But they've got the players. They've got a style of football here. If they can implement it quickly under Arne Slot, they can really cause the Premier League some problems. High energy, high intensity style of football. Similar to Klopp in many regards in terms of the ability to get at teams, a different style to get at teams. The pressing will be a little bit different as well. But it worked in the Netherlands. Can he bring it across to work in the Premier League? Obviously, Erik ten Hag had some problems, some filling out problems, but he's now got some time to go implement what he wants. And you're seeing signs of United starting to see a bit of an upturn. They've won some trophies. Can Arne Slot come across and win some trophies with Liverpool? We'll have to wait and see. But it's a very, very exciting project. And I think people are ruling them out way too early. There's still a chance here that Liverpool cause a real problem this season in that title race alongside the likes of Arsenal and Manchester City. With that being said, there are my 10 teams to keep an eye out for in season 24-25. Some big names, some big movements. Como, Juventus, Aston Villa, Napoli, Bayer Leverkusen, Marseille, Barcelona, St. Pauli, Chelsea and Liverpool. All teams with either new managers, fresh faces in terms of signings, newly promoted sides trying to defend their titles. There's a lot of things going on there, and a lot of teams to be excited about this season. The season is around the corner, and this is the best time there because you can always just think, what will happen? And that's why I love this time of the year. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you agree with my thoughts? Do you think there's other teams that are more exciting projects, more exciting managers, more exciting movements to come this season? Be more videos like this as we approach the season start. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, smash a like on it, subscribe to the Players Zone channel for more videos like these, and press that post notification bell so you know we upload our podcasts and videos here in the channel. I hope you have a great day today and enjoy the upcoming preseason football action, and I'll see you guys on the video or podcast very, very soon. Until next time, guys. See you later.